Saturday's game against Jackson State is salute to service as well as racism. If you don't mind, just please talk about how important both of those are to you.
Well, in 2005, I was selected as one of the 8 guys to go over to Kuwait and Iraq through Donald Rumsfeld, who was Secretary of Defense at the time. It was myself, Tom Izzo, Bobby Crimmins, Dave Odom, Jay Billis, Mike Jarvis, Mark Gottfried, and a representative from Nike. Outfitted all the teams. It was called Operation Hardwood. That's what it was called, Operation Hardwood. And we lived in the barracks with the troops. Jay Billis and I were, I would say, roommates, but we were more closet mates. And we'd listen to the bombs go off at night across the border where Baghdad was, and we said, it's amazing. You know, it's not 4th of July. You know, I mean, they could have been hundreds of miles away. I don't know. Obviously not close, but you could hear it. And we got to go to, you know, everything in the Army or military is acronyms. So a dining facility is called DFAC, for instance. But you would go over to the DFAC, you would sit down with the soldiers and talk to them and listen to their stories. And you'd see the pictures on the walls that was not, everybody was privy to the things that happened, for instance, on 9/11. That was something there for them to remember, never forget. Listening to the Star Spangled Banner being played with everybody standing there with the 9mm on their thigh or an assault or weapon, rifle, whatever it was, in their arms while we're playing a basketball game, just to be able to give them a little respite, a real relief. One of the players on my team didn't show up because he went on a mission, didn't come back. So that was, so when you ask me about the service, it means a lot to me because I'm honored to be in a country where we have you know, great patriots that serve our country in a positive way. And then racism, I like the word. You know, unless you're a minority, you don't really think about it every day. You think about it, if you're a non-minority, you read about it. Oh yeah, it's still going on, huh? You know, but if you're a person of color, you know, there's a good chance that sometime over the course of the month, the week, 6 months, you see it, and it's hurtful. And being able to keep it in the forefront, if nothing else, it reminds people that it's still there.
Thank you, Chris. We'll go to Greg Bailey with KTRK TV. Greg, go ahead with your question, please.
Kelvin, good morning. You talked with us last time about JoJo and some of the improvements that he'll be able to make simply by playing. What attracted you to him as a recruit, and what's the process that you and your staff kind of go through with a player like that? I don't know if projecting is the word, but understanding how you can develop that player throughout his career.
I'm not sure I understand your question, but it's called evaluation. It's not called recruiting. You know, recruiting is what people write about. That's not what we do. What you think is recruiting, what you read about, is really nowhere close to what we do. I don't recruit kids, I evaluate kids. And through the evaluation process, I determine whether or not I want to coach that kid. And then we go about building a relationship with him. But everything comes down to evaluation. So through that answer, I'm sure you're going to say, well, how did you know he could play? That's like explaining what the Atlantic Ocean looks like to somebody that's never seen water. I don't know. That's what I do for a living.
We'll go back to Chris Gardner, please. Chris, go ahead.
Coach, Jackson State head coach Mo Williams really looks up to you and respects you. He's mentioned that many times. We've talked to him. What are your thoughts on the job you've done at Jackson State?
Super impressed. We played Rice on Wednesday. So yesterday morning, I got all my post-game analysis, all the stuff that I do to present to the team. I wanted to get that done ASAP because I saw where Jackson State won at Missouri. I saw where Jackson State was leading Georgetown at all these games are road games, obviously. Leading Georgetown and could have won in the final minute. Beat Arkansas State at Arkansas State. So, all these are games you have to really, really prepare for, but you get a chance to see the other team, and watching Jackson State yesterday, for instance, Chris, they have a best player, the Evans kid, and they run multiple things. They disguise stuff to get him the ball. This is probably offensively the best schemes that we've seen. And I think that's a huge credit to Mo. Mo's a coach. He is a basketball coach. He does a great job of understanding who his best players are. He gets them the ball in different areas, in different ways. His kids play extremely hard. They play together. He's at a school where, most people's that have budgets for out of buy games, like an American Athletic Conference, every coach probably had a budget of $500,000 to spend on buy games. So how many games will that get you? If you're frugal and you get the right teams and negotiate, if you're in an area where teams can drive to you, you may be able to get six or seven buy games out of that. Well, that's the budget you have to go get games. Well, Mo's opposite. He has to go get $500,000. So he's got to play every game on the road. So looking at his record, if you're going to evaluate his team based on his record, that's pretty ignorant on your part. His record is never going to be great because he plays everybody on the road. He's already beaten Missouri. Now turn around and look at the teams Missouri's beaten. Missouri's an SEC team that's going to beat a lot of SEC teams this year. TCU's in our conference. TCU had a shot at the buzzer, a controversial shot at the buzzer to beat Georgetown. Well, Jackson State was in position to beat them. So from our standpoint, we're preparing for these teams. Everybody's already looking at the line on Vegas to tell us who should win and how much buy. That's an alternate world from us. Don't bring that world to me. I have zero interest in that world. My daughter Lauren was telling me, somebody told her tonight, well, here's what the line was in Vegas. I have no idea what the line is. You think I look at that stuff or care about it? Zero interest in it. I know how good Jackson State is. I watch them. I prepare for them. I have to take that information to our kids and get them ready for it. So, but I'm glad you asked that question, Chris, because I'm really impressed with Mo. He's done a good job. You can see why his team is what they are. And in the process of me lecturing Greg a while ago, I don't think I answered his question. So let me go back to JoJo. JoJo is a very unique kid. The thing that we liked about him, well, Kelvin and I sat down and said, you know what? We know how good he is. Of course, we know how good all these kids are. Then you guys see them after the fact, right? Well, we got some kids that will sign for next year that somebody inevitably will say, Coach, did you know he was that good? I always get a kick out of that one. But JoJo was a kid that we felt was going to just grow. He was all arms and legs. He played on a team where they never threw him the ball, yet he was by far the best player. I watched him go against all the top players in the country, and AAU, kids that were going to Kentucky or UCLA. I watched JoJo. I watched JoJo kick all their butts. little boy from over here, Cy Falls. But we got him committed. I wanted to get him committed before everybody else saw him because we evaluated him and saw what he was going to be. JoJo has two sisters that both graduated and played at Louisiana Monroe. If I'm not mistaken, either have or working on their PhD. Love his mother. Love his mother. JoJo is a simple kid. He loves his family. He loves Houston. He loves University of Houston, loves his teammates. He's an easy kid to like, but he's not even scratching the surface yet. He's going to be really, really good.